So, okay, children, you have studied simple pendulum in your earlier classes, seventh class also, and I think maybe in sixth or eighth standard also. So, what is a simple pendulum? It is simply a heavy point mass which is suspended with the help of a string which is inextensible and massless, and it is suspended to a rigid support. So see, two things are important here in this definition, that it is a heavy point mass, okay. Then second thing, the string should be inextensible and massless. So these are ideal things. No string can be massless and inextensible. And the other thing, we cannot have a point mass. It is very difficult to have it. So what do? We take a spherical mass, heavy sphere, so that all the mass is concentrated on the center of it. It is supposed to be the center of gravity to be at the center, no? So we take a spherical mass and a thin string is taken. So a mass that is called the bob is connected or attached with the string and tied to a rigid support. So this is a simple pendulum. There are a few terms that you need to know. First one is oscillation. See the figure 1.16. When you displace, see, O is the initial position of the bob. When you displace the bob from O to A, can you see the arrows drawn downwards? The bob is first moved from O to A, then it is left over there. Okay, now it is coming from A, and through O it goes to B. From B it comes back to O. Now it is not going to come at rest at this point. It will again keep on moving like this up to say a long time. And an ideal pendulum, if kept in vacuum, it should keep on oscillating till infinity, okay, because there's nothing to stop it now. But because practically we keep it in air and there is resistance of the air, so it eventually stops it. But the movement of this bob from O to A, then A to B, then B to O, this complete thing is called one oscillation, okay. So one complete to and fro motion of the bob of pendulum is called one oscillation. One complete to and fro motion means O to A to B, B to O. Then the next thing is period of oscillation or time period. So time period is the time taken to complete one oscillation, and because it is time, its unit is second. Then frequency of oscillation, it is the number of oscillations made in 1 second, okay. And because number of oscillations made in 1 second, so you will divide the number of oscillations by the time taken. So the unit comes out to be per second. Okay, per second is its unit, or second to the power minus 1, or hertz. So you have to remember this. Then the relationship between time period and frequency, this F is equal to 1 upon T is the relationship between it. Amplitude, the maximum displacement of the bob from its mean position on either side. So see, the maximum displacement is from O to A. Okay, that maximum distance from where it again starts coming back, that is known as the amplitude. Okay, and the distance of the point of suspension from the center of the bob is known as the effective length. Then how do we measure the time period? What do? We suspend such kind of a simple pendulum, and then we oscillate it and measure the time taken for 20 oscillations. Okay, so here see the first reading, the length was 25 centimeter and the time taken was 20 seconds. Then what do? We increase the length of the string and then again measure the same for 20 oscillations. then we do take a number of readings by increasing the length of the string. Okay, so and note all these values. Then what do? We plot a graph between, we then calculate the time period first. You do this. Okay, so for calculating the time period, what do? We will divide this time by 20. Number of the time taken for 20 oscillations is this much, this one, small t, right, this one. So we have to calculate time period. Time period is the time taken for one oscillation. That means capital T, that is the time period, is equal to small t upon 20. So we will get the time period over here. And then we draw a graph between L and T square. And what do we find? We find that this is a straight line like this. Okay, these kind of straight lines show that L and T square are directly proportional. That means as you increase L, T square will increase. Okay, as we are increasing L, T square is increasing. Okay, then what do we need to do? We will calculate the slope. So slope of any line is, say this line PQ we are taking, then the slope of it will be calculated by dropping a perpendicular from P to the horizontal line. Then you drop a perpendicular from Q. You can see here, no? So PR upon QR will give you the slope. I will send another video and explain how to calculate the slope over there. Okay, so we calculate the slope. Okay, so you can see here slope is equal to PR upon QR, and this value should always be constant, okay, throughout the line. So this shows that L and T square are directly proportional to each other. That means when L increases, T square increases. And then if we want to calculate G, the acceleration due to gravity, then G is equal to 4 pi square upon T. 4 pi square upon the slope of T square. Then there is this formula. See, 1.10, equation 1.10, T is equal to 2 pi under root L upon G. This you have to learn. So there are two formulae for T. One is T is equal to 1 upon F, where F is the frequency, which was over here. See this formula. So if you know the frequency, then you will calculate time period like this. But if you know the length of the pendulum, then you will calculate T with the help of this formula, right? Then factors affecting the time period of a simple pendulum. There are, see, the time period we have just studied, that time period is directly proportional to the square root of its effective length. I told you that L is directly proportional to T square, or you can say T is directly proportional to under root L. Okay, so first is T is directly proportional to root L, then T is inversely proportional to root G. These are the observed things. Okay, then the time period of oscillation does not depend on the mass of the material or material of the body, that is the bob. Okay, then time period of oscillation does not depend on extent of swing on either side, but the extent should not be too large. Okay, so time period depends on square root of L, in directly proportional to square root of L, inversely proportional to root G, and it does not depend on mass or material of the bob. It does not depend on the amplitude. So the expression that we calculate, that becomes T is equal to 2 pi root L upon G. Okay, then there is the seconds pendulum. Seconds pendulum, you know, the pendulum whose time period is 2 seconds, that is called the seconds pendulum. So normally a seconds pendulum is almost 1 meter in length. Okay, so I'm pausing this video here and will be sending another one explaining you the slope and this formula 1.10, how we get it. Okay.